Hello and welcome to the Build with Bear Workshop. My name is Pat Bear. I'm here to build a Lego set, and I'm also here to hang out with all of you. And we're going to start things off by throwing the Bear Cave, the Lego, the Scythe, the Tier 2 blue emote in the chat. If you are currently a subscriber, you can reply with those emotes. If you are not yet a subscriber, you can just say hi. You can use other people's emotes. If you feel like being a lurker, go ahead and lurk. Lurking is an option. It's a totally valid option if you just feel like hanging out. It is a Monday, and the agenda for tonight is to start the Lego Flowers in Watering Can 3-in-1. Lashbrook is here. Hello, Lashbrook. This is a 3-in-1 set, which means that we will use the same parts to build 3 unique but similar sets. A big bouquet of flowers growing in a watering can, flowers in a boot, like a rain boot, and then also birds in a nest with some flowers around it. Aristophan is here. Hello, Aristophan. So that's the agenda for this evening, is to work on that. We're going to start off with, as I said, start off with the birds, because the person who anonymously purchased this for me off my Amazon wish list in their note said, do the birds first. And I feel like obliging. Lord Crashington's here. Welcome, Lord Crashington. I'm going to scoop my chair in a bit here just for a second, so pardon me. Oh, there we go. I scooted in just a little closer so that I'm a little closer to the build area. I have so much Lego here. This is a, let me read this here. This is a 420 piece kit. Hell yeah. And I have all of the pieces out in front of me, because now if I was just going to, or I was going to start with the main build, then I would go bag 1, bag 2, bag 3. But because I am doing like the second or third build, at that point, they expect you to just have all them out. So this is a lot of Lego all over my table. And I won't know exactly where I've put every color until I need it. But we'll be okay. It'll be all right. Everything's going to be A-okay, nice and easy. No problems. Is there anything else I need to say before we get going here? Britty says Lego. I extended the O. I should have extended E. She didn't say Lego. She said Lego, which is true. That is what we're working on. Occasionally people ask, like, hey Pat, you're a model kit builder. Why do you also do Lego? Let's just zoom in a little bit more here. To which I respond, it's fun to mix things up, especially their Lego mechs, and that's really fun to build. But generally, it's just that, like, if I have an issue with this Lego set, if something goes weird with this, if I miss a step, if I mistake something, I confuse myself, well, I can just go ahead and use the brick separator here, the licensed brick separator that we have right here, or I could use the bootleg brick separator that we recently got. Doesn't say anything there, no logo. A logo-less brick separator. And I can fix my mistakes. Yeah, major mistakes, Lord Crashington puts in there. And that's true. Like, look, I have liquid cement. I can use liquid cement to fix some plastic. I can use, if it's a polycap, I have a drawer with a lot of spare polycaps. I can make something work there. But with Lego, it's really simple to just be like, wait, this isn't lined up right. Let me just take these apart, retrace my steps, figure out what I'm doing, what I did wrong. It's just modular Plamo, indeed. But also, like, I don't know, it's nice to mix things up now and again, and work with a different medium, like doing something a little different. And I think there's something to be said for that. In this case, we are going to be making a nest. I can make this image bigger so we can look at this. We're making a nest with some birds. Where are you? Watering. There you are, watering. You can see it there. We're going to have 2 fun birds in their nesting area, and that's going to look really cute. And we're going to make it smaller again, and it goes back to there. Hooray. By the way, random suggestion, but you should get some candy toy models, like the Hone Hone Zorus and Anime Gear. Oh, or Anime Gear. Yeah, okay. That is a fun suggestion. Hello, poor Brian 3D. Welcome. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. I'm Pat. I build model kits and Lego sets. We're working on Lego right now. We often do model kits. Most of the model kits are Gunpla, but occasionally I do some other Plamo, so they're plastic model kits. But I do focus on the Gundam stuff because there's a lot of it. I've been doing this stream for a very long time now, and they don't put out as many new kits as they used to, but I still have kits to build, which is great. I have not run out of kits. There have been times where my backlog has been low, but it's not because the kits don't exist anymore. They're pricier. The new kits are pricier than they used to be. You're spending $30-something for a Gundam Seed Forever. Is that the name of the movie? Whatever. The movie kits. Those are more expensive than other high grades used to be. But no polycaps. That's the thing. I was talking to somebody the other day because we were talking about the old kit that I had just recently worked on, and how there feels like there are different eras of kits, and how the early 2000s, they hadn't transitioned out of terrible shoulders, like just pegs that come out of the chest and then the shoulders just pop onto that, and how that was bad, and that it took a long time for them to get over that. And of course, the late 90s, early 2000s also was known for the experimenting with using screws on model kits, which just it was an idea. I don't want to say it was a good idea, but it was an idea that they played around with. And then the mid 2010 or 2010s into the mid 2010s, I think of that generation of model kits as when they really started doing like international instruction booklets, and you really started to see a lot more English in booklets that were going outside of Japan, and how incredibly helpful that was for builders, myself included, of course. And then, we're in 2024. We're almost at the end of 2024, which is a thing that is true. So what's the big building thing now, Pat? What's the big change in building? And to me, the big change in Gunpla is the focus on not having polycaps. That's been huge. Witch for Mercury kits and these new kits for Seed or for Seed Forever don't have polycaps. We built one, the Justice. I can't remember the name of it. No, the Gelgoog Menace. The Gelgoog Menace had 2 polycaps, and that was for putting the backpack on, which is a big, hefty thing that like pivoted and moved around. It's just like, yeah, all right, if that's the only thing we're gonna have there, like that's pretty solid. If that's our only instance of polycaps on a kit, that's pretty great. All right, what piece do I need here? I need a little one of these guys. Okay, we'll put that there. I'm going to interrupt what we're looking at here, which is the overhead camera shot of me working on Lego. Just for a moment, I'm going to interrupt this so I can share with you an important thing, which is this. We have to look at this. There was a Nintendo Direct about the Donkey Kong Country expansion again at Universal Studios Japan, and there's a lot, and we'll go through it and we'll talk about it. Miyamoto did it, and that's an excellent use of, like, no joke, that's an excellent use of Miyamoto's time. But we need to dissect this. We need to dissect this Donkey Kong Country hot dog. You added me with the candy toy stuff, so you remember later. Thank you, Brinty. That's very kind of you. I appreciate that. Because, I may forget. But we got to talk about this hot dog. So, one, it's a hot dog. Hot donkey is powerful. One, hot dog is bigger than the bun. I like that. Some people hate that. I would rather have extra dog than extra bun. Just bun at the end, not a fan. So sure, that seems great. Um, there are two things we do need to talk about here, and I'm gonna make this bigger so we can really dive in here. One is whatever somebody said they think it's banana. They think that is like a banana puree topping. We'll get to that, Lord Crashington. Somebody told me they think this is banana. I don't think that's banana. I don't know what it is. It might be potato. It might be like a mashed potato puree. And those are definitely Doritos. Those are definitely Doritos, which do belong on a hot dog. Banana cream. No, please no. I don't want that to be banana. But if you're telling me that the Donkey Kong hot dog has Doritos on it, banana salsa. No, Lord Crashington. Please no. Anyway, the packaging is nice. I think these are peppers. I don't know what that dust is. I don't know what's going on here. There's a lot to unpack with that. I hope it's not banana. I don't think it is. It could be banana. I don't want it to be banana. We'll say that. Yes, it's cocaine. That dusting was cocaine. Anyway, what else was discussed here? There is a tunnel from the Mushroom Kingdom, which leads in Donkey Kong Country. It opens on December 11th. Mini Kart Madness is there. Donkey Kong's Treehouse. There was, of course, a moment in this where Miyamoto hugged a person in a Donkey Kong costume that was very big. And I don't logistically understand how that works. That's gotta look. It needs to be said, right? That's weird, right? Miyamoto is hugging a person in a Donkey Kong costume. And we're supposed to just act like that's normal and not weird. And weird isn't bad. You know that. You're watching my stream. You understand that I don't think that weird is bad. But it is fucking weird. That's his son. Yeah, Lord Crashington. It's weird. It's still a weird thing. Even if it's not bad, it's still weird. I don't know. I don't know why that's the thing that really got me about all of this. Not that like there's like Donkey Kong Country rides and stuff. You can go to the Jungle Beat Shakes. There is a sundae that comes in a DK mug that you can keep. And that's pretty good. And it looked like there was a lot of cool shit in that. Like there were tiny little like waffle swirls in there. That DK is his great-grandson. He made OG DK, who was Cranky. Yes, Cranky's grandson. So it's his great-grandson. Yes, I understand that that there are many men have held the mantle of Donkey Kong. Someday, Diddy Kong will drop his first name, and he will take the mantle of Donkey. Perhaps Diddy is just his nickname. And the Donkey Kong, yes. Cranky. And then at some point, Donkey Kong became an old man. And he became Cranky. And his son, the Junior, dropped his name. And his son, Diddy is just British for small. He's Small Kong. Yes, but someday, Brinty, he will grow. And he will no longer be a small son. He will be a Donkey Kong, as is foretold. And then someday, he'll hold Miyamoto in his arms in a beautiful hug that I find weirder than I should, I guess. Yeah, we got a hot dog, and the DK Crush Sundae is the one that comes in the barrel mug. That's pretty cool, honestly. The Fly-In By, Funky's Fly-In By is the gift shop. because that's smart, and you should do that. If you are having a gift shop, you should have the in-game store be the gift shop. So, like, yes, that's smart and good. No complaints. I am not complaining about any of these things, just stating facts. I'm pretty sure Diddy is just a different kind of ape. Lord Crashington. But he'll become the Donkey Kong. Yeah. Look, I know that you are trying to apply logic, and I am not. I am saying that once you are a certain age and you are a Kong, every Kong becomes Donkey Kong. And then they stop being Donkey Kong and become something else. It is a calling card. It is a state of being. It is not just a name. Someday Diddy will be Donkey. Funky's the guy that hangs out on the beach, smokes weeds, and sells stuff to keep affording this weed. Yes. Yes. Funky Kong could have become Donkey Kong. He could have been the donkey. But Funky needed to stay funky. And I think that's beautiful. I think that's beautiful for them. I think good for them. Good for Funky Kong just staying funky. Let's see. Yeah, we got a power-up band. There's a drum game you can play with other people, because there's always games to do and stuff like that. And also, you can find the letters. Look, here's the thing, right? They're doing the things. They're doing the things that you would want if you were wanting to go to Donkey Kong Country at Universal Studios Japan. They're getting it. You do want to be able to find all the letters. And you want to use your power-up bands to collect the letters so you get something. And then you want to go into Golden Temple and go on Minecart Madness. Like the level that everyone fucking hates. Because minecart levels are bad in games. But they're iconic. But also bad. Now, do I hate ice levels more than I hate minecart levels? Yes. I prefer minecart levels over anything to do with ice and having to like platform with icy platforms. Like that's hell to me. The minigame stuff was like collecting the keys and now letters, your wristband, and then do a boss fight is crazy that they went for it so hard. Yes. You can, like, in the same way that the Super Mario, like, they go hard, and I really appreciate that. Like, to do this, right? It's all corporate bullshit, right? And we can appreciate that and we can understand that. But still, you got Donkey Kong Country Land, right? You don't need Miyamoto for that. You don't need to call it a Nintendo Direct and make a video and have Miyamoto hug Donkey Kong. You don't need any of that. You just have to be like, hey, we opened this. You're already coming to Super Nintendo World, so check out Donkey Kong Country Land. If you came before, we added more stuff, so fucking come back. Like, they don't need Miyamoto for this, but it's a Nintendo product, so Miyamoto is there because that's what Nintendo does. Why not? Yes, they did. Yes, like, again, Lashbrook. Yes, and every new expansion of the park, Miyamoto will come out and do a video about how cool it is because that's Nintendo. Nintendo is going to say, hey, check this shit out. Looky here, look what we got. And I don't know. I appreciate it, right? There's something about it that hits me right. I don't know. Something about, like, it adds something. Like, yes, we are adding value. To me, it is a value add that Miyamoto is like, come check this. Like, that is something more that is adding to the experience in a way that I'm on board for. It's cool. I'm never going to see any of this stuff because I don't go to amusement parks anymore. I'm certainly, here's the thing, right? If I went to Japan, it wouldn't be, Universal Studios would not be anywhere near my list. And if I was going to be in LA and go to Universal Studios, like, maybe, I have been to Universal Studios once in my life. When I went to LA, I did go to Universal Studios, but that was because it was Halloween Horror Nights, and I had to buy a pass, but then I got a free upgrade to jump the line upgrades because I went with a group of people, and it was really fun. And I had a very good time. But I wasn't when I went to LA, nowhere on my itinerary was, oh, and I'm going to Universal. I really got to ride that Mummy ride, and I got to, like, check out the Simpsons 3D. I mean, of fucking course I went on the Simpsons 3D ride. They didn't shut that down. They did not shut down the Simpsons 3D ride for Halloween Horror Nights when I went 13 years ago, because they understood that people wanted to ride that ride, even if they were there for Halloween stuff, that they still wanted to check out the cool shit. But yeah, if I ended up in Japan, which I have no immediate plans to go to, there'd be a lot of other things that I would want to do first instead of Universal. I mean, and if you're wondering, well, Pat, what else would you want to be doing in Japan? I mean, the number one is professional wrestling. I would want to see professional wrestling. Lots of professional wrestling in Japan. Small independent wrestling promotions, larger, big name wrestling promotions. But I would want to see a shitload of wrestling in Japan. That would be one of the big reasons. And then, of course, yes, I would want to go doing some sightseeing stuff. I would want to go into Akihabara and, like, yes, go to some big names and stuff. Go to outside the city or neighborhoods in Tokyo where it's not as crowded, to some book offs. Yes, I would like to go through and look at book offs and see cool shit and used stuff and all of that. There are a bunch of things that I would like to go to. But the Toei Kyoto Studio Park or bust. Yeah, I got you. I hear you. I mean, look, would I like to figure out if I could get tickets for the Studio Ghibli Museum? Yes, of course I would like to investigate that and see if that is feasible, if I could pull that off. For sure. Lorcar says, when I went to Disney World as a kid, we went to a bunch of different places since Disney wasn't great for the whole week. Universal was great for a day. Loved the Earthquake ride and couldn't see that movie until earlier this year. Nice. Yeah. I went to Disney World twice as a child. Both times were fantastic. The second time I went, my grandmother came with us. It was my parents, my mom, my dad, myself, and my grandma. And we did like a couple days at Disney, a couple days at Epcot, and then my mom and grandma wanted to go back to Disney, but my dad and I wanted to go back to Epcot because we hadn't visited all of the countries in the World Showcase. And I wanted to go, we wanted to do all of the World Showcase worlds. So we did that. And we did. We visited every single one. And then we went back to Mexico, because Mexico, at the time, I don't know if that's changed now at Epcot in Florida, but at the time, there was a Mexico had Goofy in a sombrero, and I wanted to see Goofy in a sombrero because when we went through the first time, we couldn't find Goofy in a sombrero, and so I wanted to go back. And then years later, I would come to find out, because I had, was friends with a former Imagineer, that apparently, like, there are duplicates out there, right? Of the performers, right? And they are very strict about, they do not want to ruin the magic. So if there are 2 or 8, however Mickeys there are, right? They don't cross paths. You should not see 2 Mickeys anywhere near each other, right? So the person who is Goofy can never be anywhere near Mexico. Like, if you are Goofy that day, you can never, ever, ever go near Mexico because there's Mexican Goofy. You can't be near Mexican Goofy. I found that out later. It makes sense to me. Because even though they're different costumes, they're still the same character. Disney is very strict about a lot of stuff that, like, makes sense to be strict about. Lord Crash got badly sunburned on the day we went to Daytona Beach. Nice. And Bridgie says, Toei Kyoto Studio Park has a whole little Edo Village thing where you can pay to rent a period-style outfit, take some photos, do some ninja games and stuff. And they have a bit with, like, Sentai and Rider stuff, too. Yes, I have seen photos of that park. A couple professional wrestlers that I adore are big Sentai fans. So they went to I have lived vicariously through them, and Shoko Nakajima just goes to any event she can. And now that Haru has wrestling money, because she's a teenager, now Haru has wrestling money. She can buy more cool shit and go and do that. There was a very fun thing. There was a interview series about some of these new wrestlers, and Haru was one of them that got interviewed. And they kind of interviewed her along with Runa, who also is a teenager, because they started at the same time, and they're like a couple months apart in age. And they were talking about, like, they were like looking at stuff and talking about Bandai exclusives. And there was something that Runa thought was cool, and Haru was like, I only have 2 of them and they're exclusives. So she was basically just like, I'm definitely not going to give you one of mine. I was just like, oh yeah, she gets it. She understands. But yeah, there are a few Sentai wrestling fans out there. And Connor, the YouTuber, Connor guy, I know when he was in Japan recently, he went and saw a bunch of Sentai stuff, which he has no understanding of, but he recorded a bunch of videos because Iron Mouse likes that stuff. He recorded a bunch of videos for her so she could live vicariously, which is sweet and fun and nice. It's good stuff. So I know that this is not going to be a thing regularly where I talk about VTuber stuff. Yes, in 2024, somehow I became more aware and more interested in VTuber stuff. It wasn't just because the twins, Fuomoko, Fuomoko, the twins there, Fuwawa and Mokoko, in their 3D video, did wrestling moves against each other and may or may not have been given instructions from DDT Wrestling or the Great Okan, who is a big fan of VTubers. Maybe Great Okan was involved in that. At the very least, whoever taught them wrestling moves gave them a lot of Great Okan's offense. So it's either a tribute to Great Okan or he was involved. We don't know. We'll never know. It's not just because of that. But I am more aware of VTubers now than I have been in previous years. And also because of me knowing about Joshi, Japanese wrestlers, I know more about Idol stuff than I used to. And a couple former Idol members just debuted as part of Devi's. I think it's Devi's is how you pronounce it. I can't remember. But a new branch of Hololive Japan has would appear to be Japanese K-rap artists, but I know that like 3 of them are former idols. Um, it's a whole thing. I should know. I know so much about this stuff now through osmosis and through engagement, and the fact that like I mentioned something about a thing, and a couple friends of mine who are really into VTubers and particularly Hololive stuff were very psyched to talk to me about that. Because a while ago somebody did a song in the style of Eurobeat, and I was very into that and mad that my friends hadn't told me about it. Yeah. Yes. Look, Coroni is deadpanned in a way that I don't know if I can fully commit to getting down with. But I respect it. I respect her deadpan nature. Look, there's the deadpans, there's the cutesy, there is the cutesy and ditzy, which live next to each other. There's the cool as hell, and it turns out I gravitate towards cool as hell. Like, I'm more inclined to watch Callie. I'm more inclined to watch Herb. These are very cool ladies. And that is apparently a bit more. I have found out that is the kind of VTuber that I am. I knowing myself, I actually thought I would be much more into the Chaos Gremlins. I thought I would love the Gremlins. I respect Gigi Mori because she is just a monster, and I love that for her. But turns out that's not the vibe I want to watch. I'm not looking for the chaos. I'm looking for cool. Turns out. I'm watching a lot. Yeah. I'm trying to say. So yeah. Elizabeth Rose Bloodflame, very cool. Callie, very cool. Maury Calliope, very cool. Who else is very cool that I'm pretty damn into? Those are the top ones of cool. Iris is very cool. Iris has nerdiness, but Iris is pretty cool. Like those seem to be. Bay is cool chaos, and I really appreciate that Bay is unbelievably cool, but also a chaos gremlin, and that's mainly because she's Australian. I think that's my theory, is that she's trying to be very cool, but also has chaos inside of her. Yes. Maury did a Warhammer painting stream a few days ago, so you should get into Maury. Yes, I am in Maury. I watched that stream. It was very fun. Then into Warhammer Veer her, and then I could talk to you about hams. No. So I have painted some friends at like PAX. PAX Unplugged often has like painting stations where you can get a little fig and you get the little stand to hold it, and you can just kind of like use some paints. And I found that in the midst of a convention to be therapeutic and fun. But I have not had a desire beyond that to get into painting. I respect it, but that is not necessarily where I'm going. That is not my vibe. But I do respect the hobby, and I appreciate it. Yeah. I did play Space Marine 1, and I've wishlisted 2. I have not bought 2. I have wishlisted it. I will at some point get 2. Because I think Space Marine was pretty fucking rad. And I did enjoy the Warhammer DLC pack for Power Wash Simulator. I thought it was fun, and I mostly understood what was going on. Obviously, there were references in there that were beyond me, but I did appreciate it. So I am a respecter of it. But yeah, it is not necessarily for me. But I did watch Maury do painting stream because I like watching that. And also, in that stream, a thing that happened, which I really love and I will always shout out, is Uh, Warhammer painters, big crossover with model kit builders and of course and Lego and all that. But crafters and that style of thing, so fucking psyched to have somebody have an interest in it. That is the thing that I always appreciate about these fandoms. Are there gatekeepers? Of fucking course there are. It is a hobby that certainly has gatekeepers. I will not lie to you. I will not pretend there aren't gatekeepers. But also, it is a community that is so excited that anyone is just like, oh, I want to find out more about that. I want to dip my toe into that. And there are always going to be people that are just like, wait, someone that I think is cool is interested in a thing that I like. I'm so happy right now. And that's, I think, phenomenal. I've always been into that. So there were people that were really, really excited. In the same way that when people in Hololive were playing Space Marine, there were a lot of people that were just like, well, how much lore do you want? Because we can talk about it. Do you want like a lot of lore, or do you want like a little? Do you want like, how much of an answer do you want? And I always appreciated that. In the same way that there are people who are like, somebody was trying to get, I think it might have been Gigi was thinking about getting back into League of Legends. And there were people in the chat that were like, yes, get back into League of Legends. And there were people in the chat that were like, no, you got out. Don't come back. Don't fall back in. Like, stay out while you still can. And I appreciate both those points of view. Because, yeah, what do you mean you're going to get back into League? Like, what? It's a whole thing, right? Like I said, my interest in Hololive has increased. Started with Iris doing the Eurobeat song, and I thought that was really fun. People on my timeline talking about the Dodgers game stuff, and me like figuring out what that was about and who some of these people were. My For You on Instagram, my Instagram Reels became a lot of clips. And then a mutual, a good friend of mine heard from a mutual that one of her favorite people that used to do content creation about My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic, had suddenly gotten rid of their page and all of their stuff and had retired from that and like closed their YouTube for years and all this other stuff. And the conjecture was that this person was going to become a member of Hololive. And it was like, and there's like, well, Pat, you should check this out, because if it's the person I think, they have an incredible singing voice. Like, not a like, oh, they're an idol, sure, auto-tune will fix a lot of things, rehearsal will fix a lot of things. Like, no, this is legitimately a phenomenal and gifted musician and singer, so you should check her out. Turns out, yeah, Elizabeth Rose Bloodflame is just a phenomenal singer. Like, so for my understanding, again, I am still very new to this. I'm trying to figure it out. And when I speak about Hololive, I'm mostly talking about English, because there is a language barrier for the Japanese. There is a language barrier for the Indonesian. Some of the Indonesian folks do speak English and are in English streams, so I know about a few of them, but not as well as others, because, yeah, like, I know Kyla is, I know Kobo is, but I'm not, like, super up on the Indonesian VTubers. But, like, there's, like, a couple different layers of singers. There is actually legit very good singers. There are, these people can sing, but sometimes their karaoke streams, they're like, oh yeah, they would need practice. And then there are folks that are like, oh, this is unbelievably high amounts of auto-tune. This is a person who like maybe will get singing lessons, but so much work is being done to help this person out. And that's true with all kinds of idol groups. Hell, I talk about Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling all the time. They got an idol group. Only one of those girls can actually sing. And it's the newest one. The newest member is the one that can sing. The rest of them can't really do it live at all. It's not good. It's not great. And let me be clear. Singing and dancing and emoting all at the same time is incredibly difficult. And my hat goes off to all of those girls doing an impossible task. Also, they are singing and doing minor choreography in a wrestling ring. And that's wild. That is not a good place to perform. A wrestling ring is not a great place to move around and sing. So my hat goes off to them. But like, Uda's the only one that can really sing. Like, at all. Like, ugh. Miyu can sing. She not super well, and also not while she is yelling, because she just has so much energy, because she is powering through everything, because that is her way. Lord Crashton says, I was listening to some old bombcasts and reached the point where Brad's giving up on StarCraft 2 as his multiplayer game of choice and awaits Dota 2. Yeah. Some of those Hololive girls also have this thing of singing. Oh, I didn't even mention that. You're right, Brinty. Singing with a put-on voice, like in some Corone's karaoke, where she's not doing the cutesy voice as much as she sings much better. Yeah. So, like, because they're doing the character they're doing is an extension of them, so they're doing a performance. So, like, the twins, Fuamoko, when they sing in Japanese, they're still doing their character voices. When they sing in English, they lose some of their character voice because they just start singing songs that they've been singing in their regular voices. And it's really interesting. Now, on the other hand, Elizabeth Rose Bloodflame, that character, that voice is so ingrained in her, she sings with a British accent, which I'm sure Brinty does not need me to tell you this, that some people from all across the world, when they sing in English, kind of adopt an American English accent when singing. And they don't have necessarily their even if they speak English themselves natively. But both in Japanese and in English, Elizabeth Rose Bloodflame fucking sounds like that character. And it's unbelievably impressive. But yeah, a few people that have are kind of doing a character voice kind of drop it. Like Ina's singing voice is different from Ina. And then again, you have people who are like Fauna's voice is basically the same. Callie, who is a talented singer, Callie's voice is basically the same because that seemingly that's Callie's voice. Not all of them are doing a voice. Yes, some even had to drop it for health reasons. Yes, and some people, yeah, like they're doing a because they're performing a character, right? Like some folks are doing a character, some are just doing themselves turned up a bit. Yes, yeah. From hearing some recordings that a friend of mine who's really into this stuff was like sending me Callie things, pre-Idol Callie, some J-Rap stuff, and it was just like, oh yeah, okay, that's just the voice you're getting. And that makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. To break kayfabe, that Callie voice is identical to IRL identity. She still does stuff occasionally as herself. Yes. Yeah. Again, I don't know all the specifics of this, but that is, I am aware of that stuff. And then the girl Watson, Ame Watson, who just went into being an associate, but now is an indie person again, and that's just the voice, and you're just like, oh yeah, all right. Okay, either you're using the same voice or that's just your voice. I was like, oh, okay. Sure. I'm not super up on like a lot that era, that not era, that like that section of Hololive English. I'm not super familiar as much as I am some of the other crews. Try to know more about what's going on, but only so many hours in the day, and only some people don't stream when I can watch, so I don't watch all of it. But I am watching some of it. It's been fun. It's been fun to learn about that stuff. Lord Crashin wants me to hit the dance button, and I will hit the dance button. Enjoy this. Thank you for using your channel points for something silly like the dance button. Gotta sell some Ford F-150. Yeah. I'm digging that tune. Anyway, yeah, I got more into VTubing stuff. When I heard there were new people, I was like, this might be the ground floor. I'm gonna try all 4 of the new English ladies, because again, Elizabeth Rose Bloodflame had been recommended to me as someone I should check out based on their previous life stuff. And so I tried them all out, and I think I watched Cecilia's fun and weird birthday stream today, and I thought that was very cute and fun. There are a few other, I checked them all out. As I said, I respect GG Maureen's complete nonsense, unbelievable weirdness. I fully and 100% respect the strange that she brings to the table. It's just not my jam. She is a gremlin. She is chaos, and I appreciate that. But yeah, that is not. To wrap up this conversation for now anyway. Turns out I'm into the cool. I do like the cool. That is a bit more where I'm at. The fun, silly, there is a place for sure. But yeah, I think it turns out I enjoy cool VTubers. Let's see. Couple video game news stories we can talk about here. You may remember the folks that brought us the fan game, the fan remake, Black Mesa, which was the original Half-Life 2 Half-Life built in the Half-Life 2 engine. Some of the people that worked on that are working on a video game that is not like a fan remake, that is a legitimate product. It's not everybody on the team, but it is a good portion of it. They are working on a game called Rogue Point, and it is a tactical shooter, co-op, that has roguelike elements to it. And so this is Team 7 and Crowbar Collective had a trailer for Rogue Point. The premise I thought was pretty fun. After the richest man in the world dies, his giant empire is up for grabs by mercenaries and other companies. You are part of the independent elite tactical group dedicated to stopping the dangerous corporate war and the mercenaries involved. Which is like, oh, I think it would be cooler if you were one of the mercenary groups looking for this vast fortune. But I guess instead you're part of a tactical group that's trying to stop it. And I was like, oh, okay. That's not the direction I would have gone, but sure. But it looks pretty neat. It is a 4-player tactical shooter, so my friends that like 4-player co-op stuff, who are already very enthused about this particular project. And yeah, you're doing missions to complete runs, and there will be a bunch of kind of random elements to it, the kind of roguelike stuff. Also, it will support solo and offline play, which is fabulous. We love to hear that. And it's being made in Unreal Engine 4, which I was like, yeah, all right, sure. Whatever gets you there, my friends. Like, whatever you need, do what you gotta do. See. As players complete missions and progress through the run, they unlock new skills and involve the operator, which is like the roguelike progression kind of thing. It's like, makes sense. And then they can't really talk about everything. Like, there's going to be new stuff. They're turning Crowbar Collective into a full-time studio. And there will be, it seems like there will be early access, because Black Mesa had a long early access period with a lot of feedback and stuff. So it sounds like they are going to be making use of that as well, which would make sense for something like that. I don't know. You can wishlist it now on Steam if you want to do that. It just seems fucking cool. It just seems like a cool thing, and I'm psyched about it. You know, the idea of going from doing this like beloved fan remake to making your own thing. That's fucking living the dream. It's cool as hell. Let's see. The 2018 Spyro's Reignited trilogy is going to be on Xbox Game Pass tomorrow. So that now Spyro joins Crash Bandicoot as a Sony, beloved Sony franchise for a period, appearing on Xbox, which is just, it's going to keep happening. It still feels weird. And yes, Spyro trilogy did come to the Xbox in 2018. I am not saying it didn't. I'm not saying that it's like for the first time ever. I am not trying to say that. I am just saying that it is such a strange thing to just be like, oh yeah, also it's on an Xbox. It's on Game Pass. Like, I don't know. It's still weird. Even if the game did come on to PC and Switch and Xbox originally, it's just still a weird thing. It still feels weird. It'll be on PC Game Pass November 12th as well. Spyro. Oh, is this some kind of Skylanders spinoff? Yes, Sprinty. Yeah, it's a cool spinoff of. It's like Skylanders without the Skylanders part. So it's like, yeah, we just took this cool dragon and just like made a game around it. Excuse me. And then one last bit of gaming news for y'all is that rumors were kind of circulating about Overwatch Classic. What's Overwatch Classic going to be? Are they really going back to 6x6? Is Overwatch 2 just reverting to Overwatch, but with some new stuff? Like, what's happening here? Well, it turns out that is a limited time event. Overwatch Classic is going to have some old rule sets, hero kits, and a bunch of other stuff. Let's see here. It'll be 3 weeks starting tomorrow. Game's original roster, 6x6 rule set, 2 tank roll, queue, no limit mode to let you play whatever character you want without any restrictions. Old maps, coming back into rotation, Temple of Anubis, which I have nostalgia for, which is a weird thing for me to say out loud about Overwatch, but it is true. I do have nostalgia for that map. I really like that map. And this is apparently, so don't get confused like I did and think that, oh, when they were talking about doing 6x6, they meant this mode and its limited time. Bummer. No, they also are going to implement 6x6 in Overwatch 2. It's just that this is more classic stuff, and that's just 6x6. And the fact that they're going to be focusing on the old heroes and just kind of like, it's a nostalgia thing. And like, I'll probably be playing it at some point. I don't know when. I have not set up a session. I have a Discord server with my multiplayer crew, all my friends. These are the people that I played Halo and Halo 2 with, and new friends that came along the way. But like the core of this group is Halo people. These were the Halo friends. You know, I was never the biggest shooter fan, but or good at shooters, but this crew was my like comedy friends, and we were doing something that wasn't comedy, and it was nice to have something outside of that where we would talk shop and all that, but like it was just an excuse to go over to Terry's house and play Halo, and then sometimes go to Terry's house to play Halo 2, but also we could play Halo 2 from our own houses. Wow. And so we definitely did a lot of that too. But yeah, that was, you know, and then Halo friends like Super Friends. Yes, Lord Crashton, it's very similar to Super Friends. I'm the monkey. But we had a really good time over the years doing that, and then like have kept up. And we played Halo Infinite a lot. This was a group that played Overwatch. We've played all of the Left 4 Dead knockoffs. If some group is doing a thing that you feel like is definitely Left 4 Dead, we have played it. That includes, I never played Anacrusis. Sorry, Will, you don't work there anymore. But I never played Anacrusis, but people in my crew did. And if it had taken over the crew, I would have bought Anacrusis so I could play with people. I didn't end up doing that because it didn't take over the crew. It didn't become a thing that we all really wanted to play. These are the people that I played Gundam Evolution with, which I played a lot more of than I originally thought I was going to, and enjoyed. And then I kind of eased off of it before we found out it was shutting down, but I was still playing it. We're getting a lot done with one of our birds here. Okay, get our bird together here. One of these, and I'll probably need the other one of these. But yeah, this one is one that we're like, okay, yeah, all right, we'll keep an eye on it. Maybe this crew that occasionally plays Overwatch 2 will want to play Overwatch Classic. I could see a world where we start putting some hours into Overwatch Classic. Like, I could definitely see that. Which, by extension, would mean we were playing Overwatch 2. And like I said, I could see it. I don't know. I can't tell you for sure. I'm definitely in, but like, I could see it. All right, we'll put that on there. I'm just going to do this thing, and then we're going to take a pause for the cause. I'm going to take an opportunity to talk to you, the viewers, and tell you about ways you can support the channel and what I'm doing here. Everything I'm going to talk to you about is optional. You're under no obligation to do any of the things that I'm about to mention. But if you would like to, I would love that. That would be so fun and cool. But again, these are optional things. First and foremost, and then we'll get back to model kit building, or in this case, Lego building. If you are a subscriber to the Build with Bear Workshop, I would love to see the Bear Cave, the Lego, the Scythe, the Tier 2 Blue Emote in chat. Being a subscriber is the easiest way to support what I do here, because you can use your Cash Money or your Prime Gaming token. You're already here on Twitch. If you have a Amazon link with your Twitch, you get that token. You can use it for somebody. If you want to use it for me, that would be cool. I would appreciate it. Reminder, if you're subscribing to me or anyone else, if you were doing any kind of subscription, make sure you're doing it in a web browser. Don't do it through the Twitch app. Don't resub the things on any app, because you're gonna be paying the tax, and I don't want you to pay the tax. As I've mentioned before, Dropout eats that cost. Nobody else does. They pass on the cost to you. So watch out there. But if you want to subscribe to me, figure it out and do it. You could gift a sub. You could be the top of the gift sub leaderboard. We haven't had any gifted subs in November. So if you would like to be the first person to gift a sub, break the ice. We are currently at 26 subscribers. The goal is to get to 40. I shut up about how many subscribers I have when I hit 40. So if you want to subscribe, now would be great to do that. Gift a sub. Bits and coins always appreciated. So if you want to cheer, you could join the cheer leaderboard, and that would be neat. There are other ways to support what I do here financially, if you're so inclined. And I will list a few of those right now. Like, you can go to my Patreon at patreon.com/PatBear. Over on my Patreon, there is a $1, $3, $5, and $10 tier. There are different rewards for the different tiers. Consider joining me on Patreon. I had to move my keyboard closer because it's far away because of all of the Lego that is surrounding my build work area. But yeah, consider joining me on Patreon. Tomorrow's stream is because patrons voted on it. I am continuing to look at the Shrek pack in Power Wash Simulator, picking up where I left off. I've washed a bunch of stuff on a level, so I'm kind of picking up where I left off. But anyway, but yeah, I'm doing that because patrons voted on there. My $3, $5, and $10 patrons voted on what I'm doing tomorrow. I have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/PatBear. Consider becoming a subscriber, because subscribing to my YouTube is free. And so you could just do that if you wanted to. Also, while you're over there, if you would like, you could, of course, become a member on my YouTube channel. For just $2 a month, you get my Wednesday videos on Tuesday. So tomorrow, you'll get a video that other people will have to wait until Wednesday to see. And you'll find out what the second of this month for the theme for Kuma Baer is. You'll find the second video in there. So take a look at that. See about that. Those are monthly ways to support me. If you would like to make a one-time donation, if you would just like to throw like a couple bucks in the tip jar, I've got a Ko-Fi, I got a PayPal. Everything I make through direct donations through YouTube, which includes AdSense, so watching my videos helps me out, through Patreon and through Twitch, all goes into a fund. And from that fund, I pull money out to buy model kits. I've got a good backlog of stuff. I just got a new thing. I got a Mega Constructs Pokemon kit that I've been eyeing for a while. It was on sale. I picked it up. I'll build that in the future. Now, if you want to have a say in what I build, if you want to be like the anonymous person that bought the kit that the set, I should say, that we're currently building, you could do that. Somebody bought this Lego set off my wish list. And it jumped the queue. I made a dedicated video for my YouTube channel about the thing. And then again, yeah, now I'm building it. Take a look at my wish list. See if there's something there you'd like to see me build. I've got like silly things like a sushi 1-to-1 scale, a shrimp over rice sushi thing that I would love to build. That's silly. I have a Sonic or a Shadow the Hedgehog on a motorcycle. Lego set that I would love to build as well. I've never built anything Sonic related on stream, so we could do that. Model kits galore, all kinds of different things, small kits and big kits. What's a recent model kit I added? Did I recently add a model kit? I think I might have recently added something. Oh yeah, I recently added the Gunner Zaku Warrior from Gundam Seed. I've built a Zaku Warrior before. This is a variation of that Zaku Warrior that I've built before. Recently added that to the wish list because that would be fun to build. An older kit that looks pretty neat. But yeah, see if there's something there you'd like to see me build. There's some gear at the bottom, including a recently added to my wish list is brighter light bulbs than the ones I have. I have these LEDs. The ones I have right now are, I believe these are 100 watt, and I put two 150 watt equivalent light bulbs, so the LEDs, because I would love to see if I put one over the side there. I think it would really brighten up the space, and I wouldn't have to do so many things in my camera to brighten up this build area. So I put those on the wish list just to see. I have no idea. It might not make any difference. It might burn my retinas, but I don't know. I put those on the wish list. See if there's something there you'd like to see me build or gear you'd like to see me have. My alternative to Amazon is my throne wish list. It's always nice to have an alternative to Amazon for people. And I support Throne's mission to make it so that people can have wish lists and really protect their identities. Because obviously, I'm Pat Baer. You know that. But there are people that do stuff out there, maybe in adult nature, maybe not. Maybe VTubers that are protecting their who they are. And they want to have that. They don't want you to know what state they're in when you go to mail them something. So Throne is very good about that shit. And then, of course, there's USA Gundam Store. If you want to support me financially, and you want to do it the weirdest way possible, with the most steps, you go to USA Gundam Store, you buy a gift card. They will send you an email with a gift card code. Then you send me a whisper on Twitch or a DM on Twitter or Blue Sky or Mastodon with that gift card code, and I will use that gift card code to buy something from USA Gundam Store. Again, that is ridiculous. And more people, I can't stress it enough, more people have done the USA Gundam Store gift card thing than have bought something for me on Throne. And that's wild. If you want to support me and not spend any money, join my Discord. We'll get back to building in just a second, folks. But I get Discord. Love to have you there. Hang out. I post build photos. People post stuff they're working on. It is a lovely little place. And we would love to have you there. A couple video links for you to check out today. Literally this afternoon, I posted a new episode of Pat Baer's Anime Club. Please watch it at your convenience. It is my recommendations for the fall 2024 season. And in that video, I talk about a show I haven't talked about here on stream because I'm just enjoying it for me. And I also talk about something that's not a show. It's animated. It's an anime. It's just not a TV show. I talked about that as well. I talked a little bit about it on stream anyway, but so you probably know what it is. So watch that, please. And then in the comments of that video, please let me know what you're watching. Or I guess you could tell me if I covered something in that video and you're like, no, I don't think this Ranma 1/2 remake is any good, Pat. I don't even remember if yeah, I did talk about that. Yes. I was like, I don't remember if I talked about it. I did. Like, no, Pat, I don't think the Ranma 1/2 remake is good because there's not nipples and they're not doing panty flashes as much. And it's just such a 1-to-1 remake, but they're just like not doing fan service, Pat. So I hate it. Which is a opinion that some people have. Woke remakes, all right? Yeah, it's almost like the people that are complaining watched the original Japanese with fan subs and didn't watch international broadcasts where that stuff got edited out anyway. And the fact that Netflix is running this means that they're doing a global launch and they're not doing versions that come a year or 2 years or fucking 8 years later. They're doing a global launch, which means you get it now. So no version has the shit you're looking for. It's not censorship. It's just Mappa isn't drawing nipples and butt cracks. Sorry? Sorry, you can't be horny for Ranma-chan. As horny. With no moment to think about Ranma-chan at all. Just deadpanned, not going to think about Ranma-chan at all. No internal investigation on that one. Sure. Not saying there's anything wrong. Just saying internal investigations are always nice to do. Sometimes you got to look inward a little bit. Not everyone wants to look inward, but sometimes you got to look inward. You got to understand, If your childhood crush was Ranma-chan, what does that say about you? It might say nothing, but you should at least figure that shit out. Huh. Maybe. Maybe you should think about it. That's all I'm going to say. Anyway, Kuma Baer is my weekly anime recommendation series. It's a short. They're on YouTube Shorts. Because YouTube is paying way too much money for shorts. So I started doing shorts, and I like the format. I like having to talk in under a minute about a thing that I enjoy, with outro and intro as well. I talked about Hyoka. Hyoka is a show I slept on. I was not watching a lot of anime when it came out, so I didn't watch it. I think I was only watching a couple shows when it aired, and so I was like, whatever. High school detective series? No thanks. Hyoka is so fucking good, y'all. You gotta watch it. Watch my 1-minute video, where hopefully I'll convince you to check this out. Because it's so fucking good. Oh. It's so good that last season, I watched a show that I hated for like 5 episodes because it was the guy that made Hyoka. And I was like, this is also a detective series set in high school. And it wasn't the same. Because those characters were unlikable. So yeah. All right. Now is the part of the stream where I'm going to talk about a manga that I have been reading. And then I will talk about an anime that I have been watching. I went and finished a show. We'll get into more detail about that as we kind of do the big recap. What was I going to say now? Before I can do that, I have to dramatically transition back to the overhead camera. I got to move my keyboard here. We're going to go back to the overhead camera. We are going to, I'm going to drink some water. We'll get back to building. We're going to finish this bird. We'll do that right now. Okay. I have a lot of people that recommend Hyoka, but Koani's stuff has been dramatically low hit rate for me. It's so Lashbrook. It's so good. I don't know. Like you don't like the work. You don't like the work. I understand. Hyoka is like, look, the idea that there is a character that is brilliant but doesn't want to be brilliant, that doesn't want to do the work, but he ends up forced in a club, and one of his club mates is so in her enthusiasm. Like, she doesn't really want to solve things. She's just curious. Her curiosity and enthusiasm is so infectious that our guy kind of gets dragged along, but he doesn't mind being dragged along. And the thing that I really love about Hyoka is that they are, in the grand scheme of things, the mysteries that he is solving are not high stakes, but because it involves, it's high school kids, they are high stakes to them. So it's not like, oh, I got to solve a murder, but it is like, what's going on over here? What's going on with this thing? What happened to these people? What's this mystery event that happened in the classic literature club years ago? And what are the implications of that? And it's just really fun. The OVA is skippable. Totally skip the OVA. It's fucking fan service. It's their version of fan service, so it's not degenerate, but it's not good. It's skippable. But yeah, 22 episodes. Hyoka fucking whips ass. It's so good. Excuse me. I had been recommended it a long time, many years. Again, I was so busy in 2011 watching the remake of Hunter x Hunter that I did not have a lot of room in my life for other anime. And then years later, some people would recommend it. And then Sung Wang, ProZD, said that was his favorite anime, or one of his favorite anime. And I was like, oh, he likes some good anime. All right. Oh, God, this is so good. So now I've talked longer than a minute about it. Let's talk about a manga that I'm reading. I am reading Free Life of a Leisurely Otherworldly Person. I'm not a hero. so I'll do whatever I want. Is this an isekai? Yes, of course it's a fucking isekai. So our guy is named Shin. And Shin is doing his thing. He works a shitty job because rarely do people get isekai'd. It does happen, and it's interesting when it does. There are instances where people were like pretty happy with their life, and then they get isekai'd, but generally, shit ain't great. So that way you're not spending the whole series missing your previous life. Again, it does happen. In this instance, our boy Shin was working a sweatshop, basically, working in a black company, hating his life, hating everything. He gets summoned, which means that he's going to be reborn in another world. And this is the kingdom that's doing this. Apparently, partially, I think, because he's a bit older than some of the people that are summoned, but also because he's like pretty clued into what's going on with this world. He spent years being taken advantage of, so he can read right away. Oh, this kingdom is summoning people to basically put them to work for them, and this is just another sweatshop, only it's a fantasy world sweatshop, and that people are being exploited. So he's just like, okay, I'm out. So he uses his abilities to just flee. He leaves the country. He's just like, I can't stick around here, and I'm just going to go to our place, and I'm going to blend in as best I can. He's got a young body. He's strong. He's favored by the gods pretty much immediately because he seems really smart. Like the god of reincarnation that summoned him, she hates this kingdom is taking advantage of her. She really hates it, but she has no way to kind of control that because they're still doing the summoning circles. She can't stop it. But he's just like, he's the first person to encourage her to be like, no, just don't do it. Like, figure out a way to break your pact with them. Like, they're disrupting the world. Like, don't do it. And he's like the first person that's ever really encouraged her. But also, he's got an attitude. Often, isekai characters in this kind of setting don't have a lot going on because they are blank slates or they're just like goody goodies. And this Shin, our guy Shin, is just like, I'm just not gonna deal with this. So that means that other goddesses come to him for advice. There's a guy who was isekai'd that has become so strong that he's basically a god, and he's just like running roughshod over the gods. And so they get, oops, I put this on the wrong way. Everybody. I got to fix it. Hey, it's our first major mistake of the stream, but easily fixable. I just hadn't turned this around. Wait, is this supposed to be the... this in here kind of looks like the different color. That's right. And these pieces are... all right. Oh, no, it's the same color in this one. See if you notice. To me, anyway, this color is the same in this photo. But in this photo, it's shaded differently, I think, for so you can see it. But it looks like it's two different colors. Like this piece and this piece here look like they're two different colors, but they're not. They're the same color. That occasionally happens, and it's weird. It's weird when Lego does that. I'm like, what? What am I looking at? Anyway, so Shin escapes that kingdom that we're going to definitely take advantage of him. And he ends up in a village because he's strong and smart. So even though he's young, the village kind of like pretty easily accepts him as a member. And then finds out that this village has a nobleman, like a high-ranking nobleman is just kind of like there under house arrest, which is weird. And Shin ends up like having to help him out, which he certainly doesn't want to do. And that leads to all kinds of adventures. And him, like, there's definitely something weird happening in the kingdom, in this kingdom. Maybe it's to do with the previous kingdom he was from. He doesn't know. Meanwhile, our guy Shin, like, could become the babysitter of this nobleman who turns out to be a prince. He could be that, a caretaker, but he doesn't want it, and he will turn it down at any point. Because our dude is like, no, I want to take it easy. I want to have a fun. This is like, to him, this is his retirement. So he wants to have a good time. And like I said, the thing I like the most about this show or this book, I should say, is Shin's attitude. He's not the most powerful main character in one of these shows I've ever seen, but he's strong enough. Mostly he's just like, he just does not suffer. He does not wish to suffer. He'll do the right thing, but he also will just say what is on his mind because he does not care. Because he's just like, I don't know, I'll go to another kingdom. What? I can't stay here anymore because I was rude? Sure, I'll leave. Whatever. We have finished one bird, and we'll put this bird on their nest here. Got a bird there. Bird is the word. You can see there. You can see on this side. This is a cute looking bird. Cute bird with this big old flower here on this nesting area. And then we'll work on the other bird. Other bird. This bird needs friend, so we'll get this bird a friend. We'll do what we need to do here. It's basically very similar. These birds are weirdly enough, these birds are pretty similar. So that's the manga that I have been reading. Again, I don't have the most recent episode of Round 1 1/2 to talk to you about. I will talk about it, I think, on Thursday. My plan was today to watch this past episode, but instead, I finished Gundam Requiem for Vengeance. I was not planning to watch all 6, because I've watched previously a couple episodes of this series here. I watched the first 4 episodes of this, and I've covered them 2 at a time. And I wasn't necessarily going to watch episodes 5 and 6, but then I kind of just got curious, and I was like, you know what? What if I watch 5 and 6 and talk about them here kind of briefly? I didn't take detailed notes on these, and just give my overall thoughts on Gundam Vengeance. Now, Requiem for Vengeance. First and foremost, we're getting kits. I look forward to the kits, because I think some of these designs, some of these interpretations, I'll build a Gundam EX. I think that some of the Zaku stuff looks good. In theory, I would like to see the real-world model kit version of these, because my biggest issue with Gundam Requiem for Vengeance, available on Netflix, 6 episodes, is that I didn't enjoy looking at it. I think it looks bad. I think it is animated poorly. I wanted to like it, but I didn't. Episode 5, the mission we had, the mission that was given to our heroes here was to steal a GM, the mass product, because they're mass producing these new GMs. You got to steal one so we can learn its weaknesses. This will be great in our mission here. So that is the task they've been given, that they need to sneak in the facility. So our main ladies and a few other people disguise themselves as Federation soldiers, and they steal a Federation transport, because I'm like, yep, checks out. Okay, that makes some sense. That is a thing you could do. I'm sorry, I need 2 of these, and a 2x3. Great. So they steal a transport, but then they run into some goofs, and it was cool to hell yeah, it was cool to see some goofs. So they have to go on foot. They get to a Federation base. There is a discussion that maybe Iria is a new type, and this is, I think, in episode 5. I think it was the first time that they talked about new types, and I was like, oh yeah, new types. Huh. That's important. It's kind of weird that didn't get brought up sooner. Weird. That was my note. I just wrote new types. Weird. But yeah, so there's a discussion about that. They run into some characters that are references to other shows. I won't spoil. Their cover gets blown. They each get a GM. But hey, what's up? That Gundam EX, the evil Gundam, the Gundam that they have been fighting against, shows up, disables one of the GMs. The boy that we saw earlier is the pilot of the Gundam EX. That's right. They're using children to pilot Gundams. Have you ever heard such a thing? Children piloting Gundams. What will they think of next? Aria's GM gets disabled. And then Lisan shows up in Izaku, and Lisan sacrifices himself so that Iria and her team can have a chance to escape. Children piloting mechs, what are the chances, says Lord Crashington. Indeed. Who could have thunk it? That's a child. Of course it was. Of course, a genius young man was piloting that Gundam EX. Iria wakes up. She is heading to the spaceport to go back. They're trying to get back to space. So this is sometime later after the events of episode 5. This is episode 6. The city is being attacked by the Federation. Iria is distraught because everyone that we have been introduced previously from her unit over the past several episodes, they are all gone. They all died. She is the only one left. And then also, she's like fucking disturbed about the fact that the Gundam EX's pilot is a young man that's probably the same age as her son, and how fucked up that is. Iria wants to pilot her Zaku. The plan is that she's going to try to defend the convoy, even though she is injured and she should not be doing that. They're fighting they're doing the best they can, and of course the Gundam EX shows up. Iria manages to just buy some time. That a big ship manages to launch. That has a lot of her friends and family, or friends, I should say, on it, and they manage to get to space. Iria asks the Gundam EX pilot to stand down and allow him to retreat. The Gundam pilot knocks Iria and Zaku out of another ship, out of the way, and then because he finds out that, oh, that's a mom, he has a moment of just like wanting to help her out a bit, and then that kid is killed. After the battle, Arya is basically coming to the conclusion that these new ships are turning the tide, and definitely helping out the Federation against Zeon. And she is joined a force, a Zeon force in Africa, and just the idea that now she's fighting to make sure that the wars end and children don't have to fight. And it's very dramatic. So, I don't recommend Gundam Requiem. Watch some clips. Find some clips. I think the art style is bad, and I think the animation is bad, and I think it's not fun or good to look at. Do I like a serious Gundam series? Do I like a show from this era? Yes. Do I think that focusing on the child soldier nature of this, all this time that the Gundam pilot was a child, like, of fucking course it was, but also, yeah, it's kind of interesting to be like that dramatic in a 2024. I think the dub was worse than the art for me, says Lashbrook. Yeah, I mean, I'm, you know me, I'm subs, not dubs, but subs over dubs on occasion. And yes, I am saying that knowing full well that I have friends who are VO artists, but that do voiceovers in anime. But I prefer to watch the subs. I love how much the Gundam is a slasher villain. Yes, they go full hog into until they reveal that the villain is a tragic villain in that he is a child. They go full force into, hey, Gundam's the hero of most series is a fucking nightmare. The fact that one teenage pilot or child pilot behind the wheel of a Gundam, pardon my saying wheel, but you know what I mean, can take on dozens and dozens of trained pilots is, from the perspective of, the other people's perspective, a nightmare and terrifying. And I appreciate that when those are parts of the story. When Zeon is not just a force, when Zeon is, there are people that are doing this, that think they are doing the right thing. No one is ever truly right in a Gundam series, because it's always messy and there's always more things that people want to do. And I respect that and appreciate that. But at the end of the day, I don't think it looks good. I don't think it's animated well. And I don't think it's fun to watch. So I would say that you should just watch Witcher Mercury again. And not watch this. I don't know why they did a Gundam series all in fucking Unreal Engine. I don't know where that choice came from. I don't know why that happened. I don't think it was a good choice. I would describe it as a bad decision. But Gundam series that are part of the main continuity is nice to see. Gundam series that are not aimed at the Gunpla market, and I think that's totally fine to have those. I don't mind the idea of the Build series or even the Breaker series, because it's fun to have more people that like this stuff. It's fun to open up the opportunities for people to get into it. But I would say it's an easy to skip. Yeah, I think it's an easy to skip. That's my interpretation of that. I did eventually want to finish this. I didn't necessarily expect that I was going to finish it today. I was going to watch those 2 episodes today and then talk about it on stream. Was not necessarily expecting to do that, but that's what happened. We've got some time left in the stream for me to ask you, hey friends, what are you watching right now? What are you playing? What are you up to? What are you into? I always like to hear from you about what you got going on, so you can let me know if you'd like. You, of course, don't have to do that, but if you want to do that, you can. If you're playing any video games, if you're watching anything, sorry, I just have to quickly check a thing, but everything is fine. Okay, great. that right? Yes, that's right. Okay, and then pause that. Okay, great. Everything is looking good. Sorry for getting distracted. That happens to me on occasion. So my apologies for getting distracted. Back to this. So yeah, let me know what you're up to, what you're into. I have a Starship deck in Hearthstone that I don't hate right now, and that's the best I can do. I would like to build a deck that takes advantage of Draenei, but I have not come across a good one, and I have not crafted a good one. But there are interactions. Basically, in Hearthstone, there are minion types, right? There are pirates, and there are undead, and there are demons, and demons that are undead are different. There have been cards in Hearthstone's history that are based on World of Warcraft characters that are Draenei, but Draenei have not been a minion type up until now. So some old cards that used to be that are clearly Draenei have been renamed that, and there are new cards that are Draenei that are minion type or that have things where it's like, oh, if you've played 2 Draenei, then you can do this, or if you've like your next one, repeat their battle cry and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. But I have not built a deck that takes advantage of these particular instances there. So I would like to do that. That is my plan, is that I will be building, trying to build a Draenei deck. Mostly, I've taken a few cards that I think are pretty good and put them in decks that I think are neat. Starship is the new mechanic where you have a bunch of pieces. You have a bunch of cards that you can play. And those are Starship pieces. And when the first time a Starship piece dies, a thing that looks like a location appears on your board. It takes up a slot of a minion. And it will cost 5 mana to launch the Starship, which I think is a fun expression to use in this case. So you launch the Starship with 5 mana. And your Starship is a combination of all of the pieces of Starships that you've played. Not every class has Starship pieces. A lot of them do. I think over time, in the mini set, there will be some new Starship pieces, I'm sure. And maybe even in the next expansion, there'll be more Starship pieces. We don't know. But there will be, but basically, for 5 mana, you just launch your Starship with whatever's on there. And there's one card that will launch it and do some extra stuff. So basically, if you've played a card that's like a 2/4 that has Wind Fury, when that dies, your Starship will be a 2/4 with Wind Fury, and then you play a 4/6 with Taunt that has is Russian Wind Fury. Yeah, you play a 4/6 with Taunt that has when battle or death rattle, get 6 armor. So now when you launch your Starship, it has Rush, it has Wind Fury, and then it's a 2/4 that's also in a 4/6. So then it becomes a 6/10. And then there'll be various things you can do, and you can play another card and rebuild another Starship, and it's a fun premise. It's slow, and I don't think it's good, but it's fun. And there will be a Starship deck that comes out that I think is interesting at some point. So I am going to check it out more in the future. But right now, it's more like I have one because there are quests that are like play 20 Starship pieces. And I'm like, okay, I'll build a Starship deck. Again, I don't know if I'm going to stick with it, but I built a rogue Starship deck that has some battle cries and stuff, and it's pretty fun. But it's not killer, but it's fun. Hey, check it out. We're done with our first build. One whole stream to do this. I will take a photo of this, and then we will start taking this apart so that we can work on the next thing. I don't know which one I'm going to do next. I don't know if I should do... I think I should do the... Maybe I'll do the boot, and then I'll save this one. We'll do the boot next. The boot will be the next thing that I build, which we won't get to in this one. But we'll do the boot next with the flowers coming out of it because I think that'll be fun. And then we'll build the watering can. But I take a photo of this, and then I got to disassemble it. So I'll do that now. Any other games that I've been playing, Pat? I'm not playing it every day, but I am playing fairly fucking consistently trading card game shop simulator. TCG card shop simulator, yeah. And I really like that game. I usually play for like half an hour, 45 minutes, just do a few days in there, buy some stuff, unlock some things, expand some things. Let me just take a photo like this. There, we're good. Now I can disassemble it. I think the boot is very cute. Yes, Aristophan, I like the boot, so we'll build that next. But first I have to disassemble everything and then try to organize all my stuff again because things got a little disorganized as I took things apart. But yeah, and I will be, if I don't finish disassembly here on stream, I will do disassembly on my own time, of course, because the next build here is on Thursday. So, but for Thursday, I will have this all disassembled if I don't finish up at the end of the stream. And then outside of that, last night I watched some Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling with friends, which is one of my favorite activities on a Sunday. We have an ongoing Sunday wrestling night where usually I end up kind of spearheading so that we can watch some Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling and some other like-minded things. That was very fun. Watching Palm Harajuku fight Ryo Mizunami was really fucking funny. God, that was a good match. Good, stupid match. Just a wrestler who did not want to be wrestling against an opponent that's way too strong for her. It was very fun and silly. Let's see what y'all been saying. Aristophan says, I've been deep into Dragon Age the last week or so. Hell yeah. I hope you're having a great time with the Dragon Ages. I'm going to try to pop this out with this. Yeah, that worked. Right. Comfort Gaming. I'm looking forward to the Golden Idol sequel coming out this week. Hell yeah, Aristophan. Hope you have a great time with the Golden Idol sequel. Enjoy. Lord Crashton's been watching more of this very weird One Piece arc with the mechanics of how the zombies work has been revealed. And the crew is regrouping to get their shadows back and stop the zombie forms. Also, it's awesome to see Brooks be so badass. That is the thing with Brooks. Brooks is a goof and comic relief, but also cool as hell. And then also deeply, like, there's a backstory there that is really great. Brooks is fun. People think of Brooks only as the guy that wants to see panties, but there's more to him. He is also gross, but there's more to him. Ursula likes the boot. I mentioned that. And then Lastbrook says, still grinding in Circle of the Moon. Just had one last thing left, and I will finally beat that game. Hell yeah. Good luck to you on that, Lashbrook. Was at the mall Sunday and had no idea just how far-reaching Weiss Schwartz is. There are Bocchi the Rock cards even. Yes. I don't know enough about that, but I like a little bit. Does the dub add an S to Brook? No, you're right. I keep saying Brooks as well. That's the thing. It's Brook. I read it as Brooks. I read it as Brooks because Lord Cashin wrote Brooks. And, it's Brook. Yes, you're right. I just read it like that and started saying Brooks. It's Brook. Yes, you're right, Brinty. I am not trying to gaslight you. I literally just started reading what was in front of me without questioning it. I blame professional wrestler Chris Brooks for putting the name Brooks in my head, who I just was talking about earlier today. So I blame that. I don't blame Lord Crashington. No, it's Brooke. No, wait. Yes, it's not Brooks. It's Brooke. It is Brooke. When Lord Crash Landing wrote Brooks again, it literally made me have to look it up, but it is Brooke. It is not Brooks. God. You know what? He's Soul King. Sorry, you're not there yet, Lord Crashington, but he's the Soul King. So it's Brooke. It's Brooke the Soul King, and I'm just going to refer to him as the Soul King. Yes, his shadow is occupying. Yes, there are two Brookes. Sure. But Brooke, he's the Soul King. So yeah, the Soul King is pretty fucking rad. That's a rad character. All right. I am slowly disassembling here. I don't know. I'm trying to disassemble so that I can kind of keep things organized. All of this is just going to end up in a box until Thursday because I can't. Because the next time that I am streaming is going to be for model kit building, I should say, is going to be on a Thursday, and so I'm going to have to redo all of this anyway. But as I disassemble, I'm trying to keep things organized to make my life easier. My stream tomorrow will not be Lego or model kits or anything similar to that. It will be Power Wash Simulator. We will be power washing. That is what we do on a Tuesday. We do gaming or otherwise. And tomorrow the stream will be Power Wash Simulator, and it'll be a good time. And I recommend you come watch the stream because it'll be fun. We are in the Shrek pack. Donkey has hired us to clean up Shrek's house. I'm going to finish that up, and then there's two more missions. I don't know what the other missions are. I'll find out what the other missions are with you while we're doing it. I look forward to finding that out. That is next time on Power Wash Simulator. But we'll be similar. I wonder, can I get away with having? I might be able to keep this Lego out until Thursday. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to plan to keep this Lego on my desk like this, organized, with the other pieces once I take this stuff apart. But as soon as things start falling off of my desk, then I just put it all in a box and then redo it. Because it's going to take me a while to sort all this stuff again. Because if I throw all this in a box, like, I'll give you a little bit of a look here. A little peek behind the curtain. Look at this. And even behind the photo, which you can't see because of the photo, I have Lego all around me here. And all of this will go out and be organized as well. So there's a lot of fucking Lego for me to sort through here. And I think I can keep this all on my desk without it falling off. And then I'll just put I'm going to try to do that. I'm going to try to do that, he says, because the alternative is that I have to sort through all this stuff again on Thursday. That is the downside of the 3-in-1 kits. If there is any downside to a 3-in-1, it is the fact that you have to disassemble and then reassemble. Whereas obviously, if this had just been the only thing we built on this, then I would have just built all of it and then be done and then disassemble everything on my own time and move on. But instead, I have to go through the process of taking all of this apart and sorting it, which is not hard, but it is a thing that I have to do. So we'll do that. And I'm going to do the rest of this knolling so that we can start building on Thursday. We can start immediately with our boot. But I'm going to finish doing all of this and sorting and all that on my own time. And we're going to wrap up the stream. Now, normally, we always end the stream with a raid. That's not changed here. Normally, we would raid on Monday. We would raid Mary Kish because it's Mary Monday. That's the only day of the week she streams. So we'd raid Mary. We are not going to raid Mary tonight. We are going to raid Desert Bus for Hope. The ongoing thing, we are joining in. We will be joining in a thing called Wet Ones. It is their parody of Hot Ones, where they eat room temperature chicken nuggets dipped in a variety of wet sauces that are not great. And that's just what's happening right now. And it's an interview show. It's just Hot Ones, but it's wet. I think a couple of them have been hot, but most of them aren't. But we're going to raid that. They're raising money for Child's Play. They have raised, in the 18 years they have been doing this, they are now well over $11 million lifetime raised, and they have raised $485,000 in this year alone since Friday. They have raised almost $500,000. It's fucking wild. But we're going to go raid. Thank you all so much for being here. I hope to see you tomorrow for Power Wash Simulator, and on Thursday for Lego, and Saturday for Lego. Talk to you soon. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.